Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? How y'all doing this evening? If you're new around here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Richard McGaney. I'm the man with the mission. My wife is Amanda, and let me tell y'all, our mission is to help you experience your best life. Actually, it's to help you learn how to experience your best life as we're learning to experience ours. Again, if you are new around here and you want to know what it is we're about wealth, health, and experiences. If you need more details than that, go and check out our story and all that good jazz if you want to know about how we do what it is that we do. Now, we're here to help you form habits. We've been going over the book, Atomic Habits. I feel like this is the building principles for Experience Your Best Life because it gives you the blueprint on how you can set up and control your life and the actions, the behaviors that you take if you're looking to change that. Hey, can you show me what kind of book? Yes, I can. Yes, Master, I can show you exactly what kind of notebook to use. You bear with me to the end, and I got all kinds of notebooks for you. Man, let me tell you about this. What matters more than your motivation? Everybody, when the position that I'm in, I get asked all the time, how can I be more motivated? How do I motivate other people? What's up with motivation? Motivation is all around. We talked about yesterday, people don't like motivation. They lack clarity. But let's say that you're clear on what you need to do, but you still need to, you want to give yourself a little hack. What's more important than motivation? Answer: your environment. Yep, that's right. Your environment. Here's what's funny. So many people think that they're in full control of the decisions they make. Everything I do, all the behaviors is 100% by driven purpose. I have driven myself to this purpose to take this action, this behavior 100%. False. A lot of times, whether you realize it or not, you just happen to take the one that's the most obvious. The most obvious route is the route a lot of people take, especially when they're making these little subconscious decisions. Here's an example. There was a lady at a hospital. They wanted to change the healthy habits of their customers that were coming through the cafeteria. They wanted them to drink more water. They didn't put out no propaganda. They didn't run no advertisements. They didn't have all the workers like promote more water or none of that kind of stuff. They didn't say nothing to nobody. But they were able to take Coke sales down by 11% and their water bottle sales up by 25% in a span of 3 months. You know what they did? One thing: change their environment. Change the environment. So when people thought they were making healthier choices, those same people were coming through and all of a sudden they choosing water, not because they had driven purpose to pick up water, but it was because it was just more obvious. They put water everywhere. They had it at each little station. They added water where the Coke was. They added it in a little basket right there at checkout. And so people are just like, oh, I need to get something to drink. Here's water. Why not grab it? So we're going to talk about the environment and why this is important. So in this book, I thought this was kind of cool. I never would have known this if it weren't for this book. But the human body has 11 million sensory receptors. Okay? That's how you receive information, your senses and stuff like that, 11 million. 10 million of those 11 are dedicated to sight, to your eyeballs, to what you see. And so it makes sense that the more that you see, that is a catalyst for your behavior, right? If that's what you're receiving, that much dedication is given to sight, then it makes sense that the cue that revolves around sight and vision has the most dramatic impact towards your behavior, okay? In your habits. And so you can see now how a tiny change in what you see can make a big impact on what you do. That's why setting up your environment for success is so huge. So let's go ahead and get into that and talk about that right now. Since we know that every habit is triggered by a cue, doesn't it make sense to make the cue more visible? Make it where it's front and center. I mean, come on, guys. If you wanted to eat more, apples, take them out of the refrigerator and put them in a fruit basket out front, so they're more convenient and ready. We have a challenge chat that we do each month, and right now we're doing water. We're trying to help promote people drink more water. And here's a tip for you: if you want to drink more water, put more water out around your house. What if you just filled up bottles of water and you had one sitting out on the counter, you had it in the fridge, you had it on the coffee table near you, you had it in your office, you just had bottles of water that were out. you would be more prompted to drink more water. You don't even have to make the decision. It's the most obvious choice. It's the easiest. It's the most convenient. It's right up in your face. See, you put that water out everywhere. If you want a habit to have a big part of your life, then it needs to be a big part of your environment. Stop trying to change things and introduce new behaviors and habits if you're not putting out the visual cues on a consistent, regular basis. If you're not putting them in an environment that's going to help trigger those cravings that leads to the response, that leads to the reward, that goes all the way back to the cue, and your brain associates that with it. Let's see. What else we got here? Yes, multiple cues. This one is pretty interesting because if you think about it, you can have multiple cues to one single habit. And think about the ones that are really prevalent, like your strong habits. They got lots of, let me tell you something. When I go to the movies, I want popcorn. 100%, I want popcorn. I know when I go in there, I'm going to smell it. I know like the lights, the movie signs, the posters, like everything about that environment, the lights being cut off, they're going to make me want popcorn when the movie starts up. I'm triggered that way. And it ain't just one thing, it's a lot. The same thing with somebody who likes to gamble. I can walk through a casino, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not a gambler. But somebody who is a gambler, the sound of the slot machines going down, the hustle and bustle at the bar, the people yelling and all the stuff that's going on is going to trigger a lot of emotions for them to take that action. So it's not one, it's multiple. For your really strong, deep habits, you have multiple cues. And so that's important to notice. You want to increase the number of positive cues. You want to decrease the number of negative cues. If you're in an environment and you're trying to stop eating cookies, motherfucker don't be having cookies laying out everywhere. Got to hide them motherfuckers. Got to put them up. Instead, increase positive cues and have some fruit. I'll give you a perfect example. We got candy corn. For some reason, somebody laid out on my counter. Every time I walk by, the bag is open and just sitting there. All I got to do is reach in, grab one little piece of it's the pumpkin kind too, of candy corn and eat it. It's very easy. It's very easy for me to go by and grab it, and I do. My wife brought home some bananas today when she was shopping. Guess what? They were laying out on the counter, and I was sitting there talking to her. Guess what I grabbed? Grabbed a banana and ate it. See, the banana was a lot better option than the candy corn, but the bananas were sitting out, and I didn't have access to the candy corn because it was just the most obvious. It was right there within arms, right in front of me. So that's how you can set up your environment. Set your environment up to help you be more successful. And the more cues you have, or the positive ones, the better off you're going to be. Let's talk about this one, man. Habits have to have a place to live. What you talk about, Richie? What you mean a habit got to have a place to live? The idea is to have one space for one habit. So your brain has already associated a lot of cues and triggers for a particular environment or location. And when you're in that environment, it might lead you and cue you and trigger you to do certain things. Well, if you're trying to establish a new habit, it's more difficult to establish a new habit in an old location, in an old environment. Instead, try to do a new habit in a new environment so you can program the proper cues and things in there. So here would be an example. Like if my couch over here is where I've chosen to sit back and browse social media, watch YouTube videos, get on Twitch, watch gaming videos, or whatever it is that I'm into. If that's where those habits trigger me being over there doing that, well, I'm not going to try to start a new habit of let me go over here to the couch and let me start writing, let me start reading, let me start working my business from this couch because I have all these triggers that's going to lead me to do that other thing. See, environments have context cues, not clues, context cues. So you have a relationship with the things in your environment that cause you to do certain things. And if you start mixing those up, you get confused. Like, I know we work from home, and this was something that was initially a challenge for me, but you want to take pride of, I can work from my couch. I'm on my couch. I got my laptop out. I'm working. Got the TV on. Like, this is the greatest. When you start doing that, you're getting mixed signals. If the couch is where you watch TV and spend time with the family, and then you start working from your couch, and now couch is where you also do work, you're going to get mixed signals, mixed cues, mixed cravings. And guess which one is going to win out? The one that's easier to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're sitting on the couch and you're used to getting both cravings, like, man, I kind of feel like I need to do some work, but I also really want to watch TV. You know what? The one that's easier to do is going to win out. You're going to pick up the remote control. You're going to watch TV because it's easier. And so you need to have designated spots for the things that you want to accomplish. Now, if you got a small little spot, you in New York, got one little apartment, you can assign different areas of the same room, different things. Freak, man. Hey, this is the couch where I go to read. This is, the spot where I go to learn. Heck, if you got a kitchen table, maybe this is the seat at the kitchen table where I do work, but when I sit in this spot, this is the spot where I eat. Like, it sounds weird, but just trust me on this. That's why it's easier for me to stay in routine and rhythm when I'm at home, because I'm in my element. I come down to the desk, I got cues everywhere. I got the highlighter, I got my books, I got my notebooks. Okay? I got my calendar, it's over here, actually sitting on my PlayStation. See, this spot used to be where I'd come down and play games. I've got my calendar right front and center. It's not in the drawer, it's not hidden. I have to see it. It's big, like this big old thing right here. It's laying on my PlayStation. I can't even hardly pick my controller up without having to move it. My calendar acts as a cue. If I haven't opened up my calendar and I've marked off an X for activities that I have set aside to work my business each day, I can't do anything else. That calendar acts as a cue for me. And there have been times where I've honestly forgot. Matter of fact, today, because I got off track because I was sick last night, I was feeling a little weak this morning. So the first part of my day, I was laying around trying to recover from that hike. Well, I got in routine, I got in whatever. I had more distractions. I sat down. I remember my calendar over here. I stopped exactly what I was doing, picked up my calendar, and did some another activity that was required of me. Because I got the visual cues out. And so that's what I do. And it's weird, but when I'm kind of facing this way and I got these two computer screens on, I got 3 screens. When these 2 screens are on, I'm about business. I'm about work. I'm getting stuff done. This other screen, when it gets turned on, that's for gaming. And I have to move stuff to get to it. And so I'm super efficient. I got my boards down here, my vision board, my other calendar over there. I've got my to-do list over here. Like, I'm hyper efficient in this environment because I've got cues everywhere that keeps me on task. So that's the important, guys. The one thing I want you to know, if you don't get anything else from this, is if you want behaviors that are stable and predictable, then they need to have an environment that is stable and predictable. It's hard to have order and structure out of chaos. You can control that. What a man said something about me working from my bed. Hey man, you get it done, but congratulations. And I'm gonna tell you my notebooks. I got notebooks galore. I got special notebooks and everything. But yeah, a lot of times, like, Amanda will work from the bed. And I'll go in there, and sometimes it's hard for her to wind down because the bed is a place where she's used to having her phone up and working. I'm not conditioned that way. I rarely, at night anyway, I don't really have my phone on. I don't watch videos in there. The only time I watch videos in there is when I'm trying to get away from everybody else. And it's during the day. And I'm not under the covers. I'm just laying across the top of the bed most of the time. Don't let me lie to you. At nighttime, no phone. And see, that's another thing the doctors that tell people who have trouble sleeping, that are insomniacs, they say don't get in the bed until you're sleepy. Because if you get in the bed and you lay awake and that's the place where you watch TV or you're on your phone or you're doing other stuff, you're getting the other cues that, hey, this is time to watch TV, as opposed to this time to go to sleep or time to do something else. So assign certain activities to certain locations and it will help increase your efficiency in your behavior. So notebooks. Let's see. I got a notebook where I write down my live ideas and different things that pop up in my head, and highlight and all that. This is from Focus. All right, a trip I took to Utah. I got that notebook. I got a notebook where I do my affirmations. I write them down. It's another notebook from Focus. All right, just plain, it's got regular old lines in it, okay? Just regular plain lines. I got another notebook called a journal, and it's regular, just regular old lines in it, but this is where I do all my journaling. Let's see, what else? I got a notebook today. I had an amazing mastermind call, and another notebook where I jot down some information. It's just it's regular. It's come from St. Louis, Imagine. So this was, I got people giving me notebooks all the time. So I don't have anything super pretty. Oh, and I got this one. This is a notebook journal. All right, it's a nice little smooth background, and it's regular. Got regular lines, but the only thing that goes in here are leads for people who want products or people who want to make money or people who reach out for that kind of information. Their name goes in that notebook. So I have designated notebooks for designated things. They all super plain and basic. I take a pen, I write on them. Okay, so I know, and they act as triggers when I see them and I pull them out. So I know what's up. But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for watching and tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I like this one. You can be the architect of your environment and your habits. You don't have to be a consumer of them. Set your environment up for success. If you want to drink more water, put more water out. If you want to exercise more, put out exercise equipment where you got to dang near trip over it to get anywhere else. Designate certain spots of your house or location that when you sit there, it's a visual cue to get you to take a certain behavior that you've predetermined is important for your growth. I hope y'all got some value out of this. If you did, go ahead and make sure to like it, share it, do all that good stuff. And I want to know in the comments, have you made any changes? Have you noticed that in certain environments you take certain actions? And I'd like to know what it is. Like what those are. Like I see a basketball. I went out and shot today because I felt good out. I saw the basketball goal. I saw the basketball. Amanda was sitting at my desk. And so I was just like, I want to go out and shoot. And I went out and I shot. I shot for a little bit longer than I probably should have. That's why I'm so late getting to y'all tonight. But anyway, hope you have a wonderful night. If you enjoy learning how to experience your best life, then tune in tomorrow. We'll be back again tomorrow with another video about the secret to self-control. So anyway, guys, till tomorrow, I'm out.